Hey folks, Stronghold Crafter Kev here with another video. Welcome to my channel, and this is a tutorial continuation of how to make a courtyard out of foam, part 6. Yes. In this video, I'm going to discuss various shading techniques on the final coat on the courtyard, and I'll discuss how things went, and for more information on my craft, visit my website, which is strongholdsoffantasy.com, and feel free to subscribe if you like what you see. More things to come, that way you're not left out. So that's about it, and after this video there will be a follow-up video. I will discuss feedback on how things went, and I'll see you in a bit. Hey folks, welcome to part 6 of this tutorial, and as you can see here I have the entire board painted black for the base coat, and pardon the shaking here a little bit, but just do a little panning here. This actually took 2 coats of the mixture of black paint and water, but you need this base coat in order for the shading to work, and I had to actually go back and touch up some of the hard to reach areas with a smaller brush, but overall it turned out pretty well. So we'll get on to the next part here, and I will be right back. Alright, now here's a longer view shot of the board here, and I'll go through a couple of things. I was wearing out my sponge brushes, which I recommend for the painting I was doing. You can use a bristle brush, but it all depends on more or less your preference. I just feel that the sponge brush just glides easier over the stuff. I got this packet of I think it's 8 brushes over at the dollar store. Cost me $1, obviously, and it's got a wide assortment of size here with the brushes, but in this case I would recommend going with a smaller brush. That way you can have better control over the detail. So I would recommend going with a brush that's probably about an inch wide or so. Yeah, you'll have to do a lot more of the strokes, but you can vary the detailing a lot easier with a smaller brush. So what I will do now is it's already base coated, like I said. One tip I wanted to point out, the edges, I know you can't see it clearly here, but the edges were just done with 1 coat, and if I'm really going to be picky about it, I can give it a 2nd coat on that. But when I had the board wet with paint still, I was concerned that I need to paint the sides too, and it's like, okay, do I tip it, do I paint it and then let it dry and then tip it again? And I thought, nah, it's going to take a while. So what I thought about doing was I would pick it up underneath very carefully, and then I would turn it and very carefully lower it, and then I would just paint on the edges from one side to the other, and then very carefully I would pick it up from the bottom, almost like twirling a pizza, so to speak. And I just kept on doing that until I got all 4 sides, and then I also used my fan. It's I forget what it is. It's either 12-inch or less size-wise, diameter. I used that to help speed up the drying process. And it still took a while for it to dry, but it did cut back on the timing that it would take. But as I said, okay. And this is the brand of paint I'm going to use, Liquitex. It's acrylic, and this is a thick paint that you would squirt out and dab it with your brush if you're doing some kind of canvas work or something. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trusty paint bowl, which has been used, for detail work. And I'm going to squirt a little bit in the bowl and go from there. Now, that's good enough to start getting started here. Little paint there drying on the edges. Very important. You don't want to let this this kind of paint sit out because it will dry into a solid blob if you leave it go. What you want to do is, this is a dry brushing technique which I came up with. Instead of taking the brush and wiping it on to a paper towel, instead what I'm doing is I'm just going to brush it off the edge of the bowl. So I'm going to take my brush here and very carefully just wipe off there. Now you can see there's still a fair amount of paint on there, but not a whole lot of paint. So it takes a little bit of practice. You just have to adjust it per se and see how it turns out. And then I'll just pick a spot and gently glide it across the area. And but what's nice about this is you can add a little bit at a time, and then you can keep reapplying it until you're happy with what you've come up with. So this way you can add more later on, or you can just keep it into like a shadowy effect. It all depends on what you're striving for. Now there's a lot of variable textures here which you cannot see from the view I have right now, but I'll try and get a closer look to show. But oh, beautiful. Alright, hold on, I will give a closer look of what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm trying to get a good contrast here with the focus, but excuse me, but and the camera is being funny with the focus. Anyway, there we go, that's better. Okay, as I said, I did a little bit of variance with how I applied the paint, and this is going to dry darker than how it appears here. And as you can see, by gently applying it, I was able to keep the cracks as they are, because the paint's going to glide over the top and it's not going to go into all the deep parts. And another good tip is if you find that you put too much paint on in one area, just take the brush and just spread it out, drag it across the board, and it'll even out a little bit. But the goal is not to have it all one solid gray color. The goal is to vary the shading so that it looks more realistic with the stone texture, because usually stones don't look like one solid color. They have different kinds of colors, variances in the shadings. So I will continue this and show you how it turned out.